This morning, we're also remembering Lauren Bacall, the Hollywood legend, died Tuesday in New York City. She was 89 years old. I interviewed Bacall several times on my PBS program. Here are highlights from some of our conversations.
I was never considered a beauty, and I certainly never considered myself to be one. So I never enjoyed the look, the way I look. But I like myself as I am. Yeah. I think I'm a pretty decent human being. God knows I talk too much.
Do you? Are any blessings that you wish you had that you don't have?
Yeah, I wish I had about 20 years that I don't have.
Do you really? You'd like to be 50 again, you've said.
I wouldn't mind.
Why? Because it would just, like, living is so great? What?
Well, because I like to do things. I like to function. I like to go. I like to be able physically to do things. And I want that to continue.
If people want the friendship of Betty Bacall, they have to know what about you?
Well, they have to know how outrageous I am. But they have to know...
Well, what does that mean?
Well, I believe that without laughter, there is no point at all.
Yes.
So I think everything's a joke.
Yeah.
So that doesn't set well with everybody, you know. There are a lot of humorless people in the world, but I don't want to know them. Because I cannot imagine being a friend of anyone who has no humor.
It doesn't laugh.
No, but it has to have a sense of humor and not take yourself seriously. I mean, you have to take your work seriously, but not yourself. I think the beginnings of everyone's life, from the day you were born and from your upbringing and what you were exposed to and what your dreams might have been and what supported you in your trying to reach a certain goal and achieving that goal and your first love and your first job and your first everything. That's what's so it's fascinating about everybody's life. That's the best part of your life.
Because I think it's been extraordinary when you look at all the things you have done.
And let's hope that there are things that I have yet to do.
Many of them.
Let us hope. I'll settle for a few.
Wow. I think that one of my favorite moments may have in fact post-dated that. I hope there are things yet to do. The mirror has two faces. There was a moment that I'll always remember. Barbara Streisand plays her daughter and talks to her mother, who was a former beauty and still beauty, and she asks Streisand, looking at yourself in the mirror with such appreciation, having people look at you with such admiration, how did that feel? And Lauren's character says, it was wonderful. Only the way she said it was a little better than the way I said it. It was just, you saw Lauren Bacall through it, but don't you think it was her intelligence?
It was, You know, she's a great friend of Adlai Stevenson, too, the Democratic presidential candidate, you know, who ran against President Eisenhower and lost.
And she got Bogart to switch, who was a Republican, to back him.
Yeah, but she, I would say again, she wrote a book which was a memoir, and she sat at the publishers and wrote it herself. They gave her a little office, and it became, I think, a National Book Award winner, but a big prize, whatever it was.
Because it was so good.
Yep.
Yeah.
And so honest and candid and observational.
Yeah. Well, as always, nice to see those clips of you, Charlie.